Hey everybody, my name is Chandler Quintin. Today, instead of doing a trade of the day video, I'm going to show you guys a very basic ETrade Power Pro setup. Again, I use ETrade Power Pro for charts. I do not use it for actual trading. I just have the account open for the charts essentially. I'm going to show you guys a screen setup that I use that I just leave on the computer all day when I'm doing work with my startup company or other things, and I just keep an eye on it. And I've made tons of really great trades with this strategy and using this screen, and it's really all you need. If you're doing short-term trading, whether it's a trade that's less than an hour or over less than 3 days, you really don't need much else than basic technical analysis to make some money. So you'll see here on the left side of the screen, I have the options chain table right here for a particular stock, and I have a 60-minute chart here on the right. On the bottom of the chart, I have RSI, a 14-period RSI, and I have the line a noticeable color, so I can make sure that it catches my eye if it goes wildly up or down. Up here, I just have a standard candlestick chart. I think I have the 5-day and the 200-day simple moving average lines, and I also have a Bollinger Band. Now, when you're trading short term and you're using this strategy, you're really looking for 60-minute RSI to cross below your red line or cross above or get near your red line. Now, I've been studying Netflix for a while now since I started. They caught my attention after earnings, and I've noticed that with 60-minute RSI, when you hit above 75, it's a good time to short. Obviously, right here we have an example when we were at 380 after earnings, and then we came down here to 299, and it's a good long below around the 25-20 range on the low side. So I'm essentially waiting around all day for daily 60-minute RSI to hit 75, and then that's my on the hourly, and then that's when I look to get in. And then I pick the option that I'm looking for that has a good delta and has some volume, so they're a little bit liquid, and then I just go for it. I just make a trade. I mean, there's really nothing to it. If the stock's going to go down, it doesn't matter if you're buying week out options or 2 months out, 3 months out, 6 months out options. You're going to make money. So I'm going to show you an example of the past 2 days when this happened on a really short-term level, and then I'm going to obviously I showed you earlier this example here of the RSI being above 75 and shorting it down here and waiting until a good time to exit, which would be when it crosses below. With moves like this, after a quick down and then up, you get like a little digestion up here, and your RSI will kind of float around the same zone before it decides which way it wants to go. And I think we have that going on here over the past couple of days, but because we use that 75 RSI, we actually had two trades to make right here of the past 2 days. And the first day it was a 64% trade. The second day was a 72% trade. So over the 2 days, if you reinvested the money from day one, it's 180% gain. So let me show you kind of how it shook out. So let's I'll zoom in a little bit. I'll put on a 5-day chart. So it opens up on Tuesday, and RSI opens up at 69, and during this bar, it crossed above 75. So I have an alert that I got emailed to myself, said Netflix was above 75, and I was actually in a meeting. So I actually went and bought 355 calls for the 17th very shortly after. I was in a meeting, I had the screen up, and I put on the 15-minute and took a look, and we were kind of like around right here, and it looked like it could have pushed a little bit higher, so I waited just a little bit. And then if we put on the 5-minute, what I would have done is I would have waited until the 5-minute became overbought, which is exactly what happened. So we had within that the first half hour, we had RSI kind of nearing that 75 range, and then I kind of looked to a more specific narrowed down level, the 5-minute, to see when to get in. So this is about when I got in here, and you could have gotten the 355 at around $6.70. And I actually have these two tables linked up. So on the left, when I ever click on an option, it actually puts the chart on the right. So that's a really good way to kind of zoom in and figure out what's going on. So the option was oversold. So you can get in at 670 and out here at $11, and you could have had a stop here, maybe like a 2% stop, and you would have probably got out here at 10.50 or something like that. That would have been a 64% trade. So on a $10,000 investment, you would have walked away on the day with $6,400. If you were to take that $16,400 and reinvest it the next day, would have had the same scenario happen. I'll put the 60-minute back on, and same thing. Opened up with an RSI of the closing bar of 72 in the first half hour, and then it pushed a little bit higher, and so we did get very, very close to 75. I'm not actually sure if we got there. I did get alert that we crossed 70. So you could have taken a chance with another short and with the same contract. So you could have jumped in with the 355 on this week's expiration at 580 and out at somewhere around 10. So 72% gain. So if you took that $16,400 from the day before and invested it, you would have closed out the past 2 days with $28,000 in your account. So up $180. I mean, it's really that simple. And using for Netflix and other stocks, finding their real strong pain points with RSI is very important. I've noticed above 75 is a great place to short for Netflix, and below 25 is a good place to go long for Netflix. For a company like Facebook, it's a little bit different. If you look at the Facebook chart, you'll see that it's a little bit more relaxed. It's kind of when you get cross 70, that's a good time to get short, and when you just dip around near the 20 range, it's a good time to go long. And a company like Tesla is the same sort of thing. They have one that's a little bit, when you get closer to 80, that's kind of when you go short for a long period. And then when it gets to the very low, like 18, 20, that's when you go long. So again, you can keep the screen up all day. Just wait until you see something above this red line and go short. If you see something below this line, go long. And you could have a short-term trade that might last an hour or two, but if you hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, I mean, that's a huge move. You're back at a low RSI, and then you can actually roll into calls and then ride it up another 4 days, and then roll into puts and ride it down again. I mean, come on, guys. Why aren't we all making millions of dollars a year here? All right. Again, my name is Chandler Quintin, and this has been a video of a very basic E-Trade setup.